Welcome back, gamers. It is another Wednesday here in the RGH household. Papa Tash here with TV and KackisHD. We're feeling real good. We're feeling really good. There's a
Woo.
new season of Destiny, a bunch of news and gaming, and we're excited to share it with you. Every
Mike,
Wednesday night we do this. So, vibes. What?
I can't help but notice I can see your body today.
Yeah, well, hopefully you can see a little bit more of it. Look at that. How do you like that?
Just out of frame. Very
Oh,
good.
too bad. Too bad.
Well rehearsed.
Camera issues. I mean, there's always something with me, right? There's always some tech issue. I can't get everything running. I mean, I don't got big enough brain for that. But there is a new season, apparently. I don't know. Apparently, there's a new season of Destiny. We're gonna hammer that out.
Traitor.
Come on, man! Don't call me a traitor.
No, forget your roots. Forget what brought you here, dude.
Oh,
Shame.
Don't beat it. Don't beat
Shame.
it.
Shame. I've heard good things though. I want to hear it right from the horse's mouth though. I've just kind of seen in passing, and I've been kind of popping around different streams. There's like a new turret stasis. I saw that bow. The bow looks cracked, and apparently rockets are like nuts now or something. Like
They can be.
yeah. Glad had a video with a rocket that was like one banging servitors or something. So I don't know. What's the thoughts on the new season?
I mean,
You go first.
oh man, I've been absolutely grinding in terms of content, just trying to get videos out. Only for YouTube to suppress them to the algorithm. So thank you, Google. Shout out to them.
Mhm.
But no, it's really interesting. Bungie always slaps with these or not December, sorry, these winter seasons. Like Season of the Dawn slapped, Season of the Forge slapped. Like these winter seasons usually hit, except for Curse of Osiris. But and this one seems to be pretty substantial. The new Battlegrounds activity, it seems to be, certainly a lot more content there than the Hunt activity from last season. There's a lot of new loot to chase, especially if you include reissues. But that's kind of the thing. It's one of those things where there is some decent content to have. There's some decent loot to go after, but if you're looking for like a reinvention of the wheel per se, that's not necessarily here. It's just like more solid Destiny content.
Mhm. Just more Destiny. I gotta say, coming out the gate, like when you first fire up Destiny with the new season, it got me kind of hyped because it was just this whole. If you're not familiar with what's going on in Destiny right now, it's this whole idea that the Cabal, this Empress Keitel, who was Callus's daughter, okay, and basically a defector, didn't really think things were going well under her father's rule. So she's got her own army, and she comes to Zavala's like, listen, let's team up, and we could take down the Hive together because there's this whole Ziva Wrath and Savathun. There's that whole thing going on. We've got that arc. We also have the Darkness arc and the Pyramid ships. And there's just a lot of threats out there right now. So she's like, listen, let's team up. Y'all are pretty tough. I'm pretty tough. Let's team up and let's start taking this stuff down. The only thing is, for this alliance to work, you have to basically serve under me as part of my war council. And basically, you have to pledge fealty to me. And Zaval's like, I ain't about that.
Zaval's like,
no.
bitch.
And then like you said that you called Keitel it. Yeah. And then you've got even Saladin, who is like just always been this peripheral guy ever since Rise of Iron, where he had the spotlight, and he was BA then. We really liked him then, but then he's just kind of been a vendor since then. But then he starts coming in with some voice lines like, the Cabal art, I mean, they make me sick, and I am tired of overseeing Crucible matches. Let's kick some butt. Everything about it just gets you real hyped. And that was a cool thing, just to see the exposition of the narrative really starting to make some headway there. And
only Lance Riddick, only Zavala gets the voice line sheet, and it's just the word no. He's like, I'm gonna make this the hardest
nail it.
He just like goes no, and you're like, I don't know, I can't even do it. Obviously no.
Oh!
It's just like I don't know how he does it, dude. It's fantastic.
Yeah,
Right.
but I love that whole story arc where it's not only no, it's not just it's no. Not only that, I'm gonna kill all your friends. Like how dare you even ask me? Anyone who tries to pledge fealty to you now, we're gonna murder him. How you feel about that? I mean, that's his response. And so that whole idea for the season kind of got me a little pumped. Like, we're getting a little aggro here. So I did like that.
Right.
Yeah.
There's a new battlegrounds.
Battlegrounds, like it's like a kind of like a glorified strike. It plays out the same way. You disable this, like kill a bunch of ads, disable these 3 things, then go to like a different area, kill some more ads. The boss comes out, you kill the boss, you get some loot, and there's a whole reward system. I did a big video that came out a couple hours ago on like a complete guide to the new reward system, because it is like feels like almost overly complicated. Like you have this hammer of proving, you have to upgrade this hammer with the new helm system, and then you get hammer charges. Then you use the hammer charges in the Umbral engram system, and it's like 2 different. I feel like they maybe planned this earlier and realize, like, you know what, we need to reintroduce Umbral engrams, and it kind of feels like one of these things was kind of added to the other, and now they're kind of, and so there has definitely been a little bit of confusion from people being like, wait, like one of the most confusing parts is you have to get hammer charges, but when you go and inspect your hammer and put in the medallion, you'd think that's charging the hammer.
Right,
But
right.
no, it has nothing
It's
to do with that.
misleading.
It just lets you get a hammer charge. And so I feel like that is a little bit of a stumbling block for certainly the more casual players who are coming in and are like have like 3 different systems they have to deal with now, and they're like, what is going on? But once you kind of get a grasp of that, it becomes good because it's very easy to target farm loot again. Like the Umbral system is great for that.
Right.
It's like, I want the sniper. I can get an engram that gives me a sniper or one other thing, and that's it.
That sniper, by the way, the far future, that's nice. That's nice. It's basically got almost identical stats to the Adored, except you can get quick draw, opening shot. You can get eye rolled surplus on it, and it's like it has quick draw and snapshot built in when you've got abilities cool down.
Really?
Nice.
Do you
It's
miss
nice.
snapshot though?
No.
It aimed on it, like already has great.
So the ready speeds and ADS speeds are really good when, well, the thing is you have to have abilities cool down for it, just for surplus to work, right? But anyways, that's very nice.
So one thing I was thinking about, because I've been playing a lot of Path of Exile, is it's kind of interesting because Path of Exile, every like 3 months or so, they do a new league, and it's got like a completely different mechanic. And there's been a lot where I'm like, I don't like this, I'm not playing, and I just don't play Path of Exile. But then they try a brand new one, and it sounds really cool. I try it out. This newest one, amazing. I wonder how often that happens with these new seasons of Destiny. With the recent season, with the hunts, people are like, nah, I'm not interacting with that. I'm not even going to touch it. And they take a little break. But then they see everyone's playing these battlegrounds. They're trying out the new content. There's new, maybe they like fighting Cabal more. I wonder how many people, total are playing the game and they see a season and they leave. But then a whole other group comes in. You know what I mean?
Sure.
I'm wondering.
Yeah.
I'm wondering, does that population flow? But there's like, even though it might be the same, it's completely different people that are playing that season versus the other one. Or is it just a bunch of dedicated people? And I don't know, because I'm looking at a couple of these seasons that have happened, like even Season of the Drifter. Like, I'm sure that one's a really good example. There was probably so many people that just quit for Season of the Drifter, but then Opulence comes back. And now there's like hella people, and it's almost like they're throwing out all these different ideas, but some of them they're just not going to catch. Some of them will not be popular. But at the same time, like, the dedicated fans get something new every season. It might be a dud, is what it is, but like it's almost like they throw out those ideas and those feelers, and maybe they snag a couple back in. But I don't know. Battlegrounds seemed okay, more in depth than the hunts. Like much more interest in the hunts, just visually, because the hunts, you would like do the lure, you'd be doing side
like
activities,
30 seconds,
right? Yeah, you'd do the side activities. You go and fight a boss for like a second. Like, honestly, like, you could smash it with like a couple anarchy shots and like a snipe, and you'd be like, oh, the boss is dead. Yeah. This one is much more substantial. I was watching some people. Do you know if they're going to expand on that further? Like, are there going to be new battlegrounds that open?
Yes.
Okay.
There's going to be more battleground activities coming in the next month or so.
That's good. New bosses and stuff.
Yep. And and it's just like a bigger rotation. There's like, it has its own playlist in the Vanguard. Like if you go into Vanguards, it has all the strikes, and now it has battlegrounds, and it actually has a good reward system in the sense of like, so if you do 3 battlegrounds, you get a powerful, and then as soon as you do that, it expands. It's like, oh, now if you do 5 total or something like that, and then it expands, and it's like now if you do 9 total. So it keeps getting like, I'm like, dude, this is what it should be for everything.
Mhm.
You know, strikes have like a random chance to randomly give you a random like powerful, and there's no tracker. Why not just have that? Hey, 3 strikes you get your pinnacle, then 5 strikes you get a powerful, 9 strikes you get a powerful. So it's like if you want to sit in that playlist, you can track your rewards. I don't know.
Yeah.
I like that system.
Yeah, Crucible's like that too. You go to Shaxx, and Shaxx will have a
Yeah,
list
the
of
vendors,
rewards.
Shaxx and the Gambit vendor are remade now.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I gotta say, as a Crucible player, I mean, Crucible's kind of rough right now, but at least while I'm grinding, I'm knowing, oh man, I got to go back to Shaxx, and it tells you, you know, when you rank up your Valor enough, it says, hey, go back to Shaxx. You hit another tier, and you can go back there. You're like, okay, I can get. And this is a big deal for PvP players. Like, hey, I can get enhancement cores. I can get an ascendant shard. Like, there's all these great rewards you can get as a PvP player that you otherwise didn't really have much access to.
Right.
You're no.
Also,
Oh,
Yep.
new stasis stuff.
yeah,
And they're kind of wild.
yeah.
TBH.
So I
They're kinda
know
wild.
I know about the turret one because that was
The
big.
Titan one's really cool, actually.
What are the
I
other
got-
ones?
yeah, I got mine for the Titan. So basically, when you're sliding and then you activate your charged melee, so you have to have a melee ability. You then kind of like a jump
Thrust
up, and then
away.
a wave of ice goes in front of you, and like it's
It's
not
like
that big.
Tempest Strike.
It'll
but it's
freeze
ice.
people directly in front of you. So
Okay.
if you're like, you can slide and then melee into someone, and it'll shoot some ice out. So you can maybe freeze someone just behind a corner, or if you're charging, or if you're going at each other with shotguns and you do that, you can freeze them maybe. And then of course, if you have the one that you can slide and break, you can like just kind of move around and slide back into it and break it or whatever you want to do. But again, you can only have 2 aspects on. So like for these new aspects, like the Warlock turret, for example, something's got to give.
Mhm.
So you can have the Warlock turret, but you can't have the Warlock freeze when you cast your
Rift,
class
yeah.
ability. And the Titan one as well, like you know, it obviously works with the extra sliding distance one, but it also works with the one that gives you melee energy back with those little crystals, right?
Mhm.
So it's one of those things where a lot of people saw this and were like, "Oh my god, more stasis! Like this is the worst thing ever." But it's not necessarily more because it is more, but it's replacing existing abilities. You're not getting
You're not just
objectively
stacking
more
it
powerful.
on and yeah.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
I mean,
what about the
I love that
hunter?
creativity.
What is the hunter getting?
The hunter does something where it's similar to the Titan, where if you kill like frozen or guys or shatter guys or something like that, you get I think ability energy with the like crystals you have to go and collect. It's pretty
Yeah.
minor. I could be wrong about that, but it's pretty minor.
The one thing I heard about that people were really salty about was they buffed the hunter shuriken.
Yeah.
They buffed it to like 90 damage, and people are saying that it's just like broken. What are your thoughts on that? I haven't got to play with it.
It's aggravating. I've played plenty of PvP.
I
Yeah,
haven't
right.
played any.
I've spent plenty of time in PvP since the new content came out, and there have been a couple of times where I break for cover and I literally see a shuriken bounce off a wall and just beeline straight for me. I'm like, mother, and sure enough, it hits me. I die. It's like
Yeah.
it's a lot of damage. It's a lot of
Like
damage.
who was saying that shurikens were underpowered last season? They were
Right.
cracked. Everyone knew.
Oh,
they were
exactly.
cracked.
Exactly. No one is saying that. And so it's probably decisions that are being made and they don't have time to change them. Or they can't understand the feedback that's being given to them.
It might be like a Bungie knows best type of thing, and they're like, "Well, we know, we
no,
know what
no.
to
I'll tell you
do."
what it is. I'll tell you what it is. They looked at the data and they're like, hunters appear to only be getting kills with Shatter Dive, so we've buffed the Shuriken to try to spice that up. And it's like, okay, well,
Oh my
now
God.
both are gonna be now both are gonna be
Oh,
broken.
no.
So that's great. The thing I was a little bit worried about was the turret. Just because I feel like it's one more thing that is frustrating. They throw it in a hallway, you walk out, and you get tagged by it, and it's just like, really? Like, really? But at the same time, you're giving away the freezing aspect, and it's like, I don't know if
Use
it's
up your
actually
grenade.
stronger. And yeah, exactly. You just gotta use your grenade. Like, is
Yeah.
it any worse than the dust field? Because I heard they buffed that too now. It can kill you in the dust field or something like that. Is that right?
I'm not
It
sure about
it
that.
does damage now or something that it
Well, it's
didn't.
always
It
It
done
didn't
always
before.
damage.
did damage.
Yeah.
I'm not 100% sure. The point, but I think they also did nerf stasis substantially in the sense that you now do 50% less damage against frozen targets with primaries, right? TV, and then
Yes.
you do 50% more with specials. So if you're running in with the shotgun to shotgun someone who's frozen, you're guaranteed to kill them. If you didn't
Absolutely.
already, you're guaranteed to kill them. Or you can like one shot body shot someone with a sniper or something. But obviously, I think that would probably be a net nerf just because like the most common thing is someone's frozen and you just pick away at them with like a 120 from across the map. I think no, so now maybe it's a little bit more realistic to actually get away alive.
hmm I I can speak to that in PvP because like I said, I've played plenty of PvP, and I was working on some of my new aspects, and so obviously I was going in there with stasis, which I don't enjoy using stasis, but obviously if I'm trying to get a quest knocked out, I'm going to do it. And it was, I'll say this, it was frustrating as a double primary user. Like I love using double primaries. It's just my favorite way to play the game right now is using double primaries. So pardon me, I had situations where I throw a dust field, suck somebody in, and they get frozen, and I'm like, tick 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 with my sidearm, and like, why won't you die? You know what I mean? And then they just break out with a felter and pump me. That happened a couple of times.
So you
So
do less damage, like it literally nerfs your damage when they're
it nerfs
frozen.
my damage. Yeah,
Weird.
when they're frozen. So
Yeah.
I was like really trying to kill them before they got frozen. Yeah, throw the dust field, suck them in. I'm like, come on, kill him before he freezes.
Yeah.
It's weird. Like I don't think they needed the buff to specials. Like the special spam is already too much.
Yeah,
I don't. It's like, and it's also like who out there is not getting the kill with the fell winters on a frozen target? Like you really need to do 50% more damage.
right.
Like
Right.
what are you doing out there?
Okay, so the way you guys have talked about the new season and like kind of what I've seen, you said it's more of the same, or it's like more Destiny, right?
Thing that it matters, I think, to you and a lot of the people that left the game in frustration and mainly over PvP reasons is that Bungie did not admit fault. Like they did not say, "Hey, we messed up with stasis. Clearly, this is a little bit too much," and they dropped it down. And I think a lot of people really wanted that. Instead, they dropped some things down, they upped some things, they moved some things around. There's new things. So they didn't really like they didn't fix that aspect that a lot of people were frustrated in.
Right.
They it might be better, but they certainly didn't kind of take a big step and say, "Hey, we messed up." And I don't know if they're ever going to do that. I
Yeah.
think like similar to maybe the people who did double primaries, it could be some bruised egos and quite a while until they're maybe able to look back and reflect and say we made some like serious mistakes to the balancing.
Right. Now, what about the battlegrounds? Is that enough of a new content thing where
I
it's
like
like,
it.
are you gonna like it in a week?
I'm gonna like being able to target farm loot a little bit more.
Mhm.
Like I'm gonna like being able to do it, get like charges, and turn those into umbral engrams for the loot I actually want to get. Right? That's the thing I'm gonna like about it.
I like the PVE loop this season. I mean, it's seasonal content. You got to set your expectations realistically. But as someone who just kind of goes in every now and then, and I throw on Spotify and I just do whatever the current grind is for Destiny, and that shifts from season to season. This season, that loop for me is more enjoyable than last season. I will say that. So
Good.
I
Yeah.
have actually gone out of my way to turn on the console at night off stream, do some hunts. I did a little bit of the Devil's Lair strike. Yeah,
100. Yeah, and the good thing about that loot is that it's actually good this season in the sense of like there's actually some weapons with like, for example, that can get multi-kill clip and rapid hit, right? I got the SMG with overload or overflow, where
overflow.
you get the special and you'd like double your magazine size and rampage. And then there's a new perk called frenzy, where if you're in a
Yeah.
firefight, it increases your damage and reload speed and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It can get that as well. So we haven't
Did you s-
necessarily gone above what we had before, but we're finally back at parity to when we're getting some pretty cracked loot again. I think one of the biggest complaints last season was people were like, you're sunsetting all the good stuff, sunsetting the blast furnace, you're sunsetting the stuff from Season of Dawn, all this cracked loot, and there's nothing even close to as good. I think
Yeah.
finally this season, there's stuff that it actually can get some cracked rolls again, in PvE especially.
Right.
Yeah.
I have a question. Another one. I know this might sound cynical. Is it still interesting getting another hand cannon or another SMG with a damage and then a reloading perk? Like, my question is, at this point, do these cool rolls actually feel that cool though? Like, I understand that they're different, but like mowing down an enemy with my Season 14 SMG feels the same as Season 13 SMG, as the same as Season 11 SMG. Like, it doesn't really change a thing. My worry is, unless they start making some really banger activities that are like, holy cow, what an experience. Like, the gameplay loop is starting to get a little bit tired. Like, a battleground is a new area to fight in, but like the feeling of shooting a drag has been shooting a drag, and shooting a cabal is shooting a cabal. And I'm wondering, like, is that getting tired at this point?
I think to a lot of the loot, you are right. It's kind of like, I've had this. So I've had a similar thing. I'm just getting it because it's the non-sunsetting version.
Mhm.
But it has been some innovation. For example, there's a new fusion rifle perk that spawns on the Trials fusion. I think maybe one other thing where if you slide, it increases like your charge rate and damage.
It's
And
really
like,
cool sounding.
it's like, oh, hold on. Like, okay, this is exciting. Like, this is something we haven't had before. The rocket launchers have a couple new perks. There's one that like it's just a perk that massively increases the velocity, and you can get it on the Trials one, which has the biggest blast radius, right? So it's
Right.
like, hold on, is that going to be like actually pretty cracked for PvP? Just being able to snipe someone and whiz that thing with max blast radius through like a window and get a whole team or something like that. It also, there's a new rocket launcher perk where it can stick targets and it explodes after, like, timed payload for rockets.
Yeah, I saw that one with Glad, and
damage.
it hit really hard.
Yeah, so stuff like that is exciting, and it's a little bit new. Like, that's traditionally, for rockets, you're kind of trying to direct impact, but now like you get really rewarded for that. You're getting away from cluster bomb. So I think there is a little bit of innovation there.
Yeah,
which
absolutely.
which is good. And remember, this is just like this is $10. Like, I think people forget about that. This is $10, bro. That's like one like meal at Chick-fil-A or Carl's Jr. or something, right? Like,
Right.
it's not a lot of money we're talking about here.
Yeah.
And it's a decent chunk of content.
And it also helps for me. Aesthetics matter. I mean, the way something looks matters. And I
Mhm.
will say that the battlegrounds loot, those guns look really cool. That's a really cool aesthetic. If you haven't checked those out, they look very unique, and that
Yeah.
matters to me. I mean, when I'm holding a gun and shooting it, I want it to look pretty BA when I'm doing it, because I don't know, it elicits a different kind of a response out of me than, say, for example, like the Stars and Shadows, which was the pulse rifle for the Crucible last season.
It's like
And
boring.
it's just one of the blue pulse rifles in the game that they just painted purple
Yeah.
and made a legendary. It looks very boring.
Right.
So, anyways,
And that's one of the
that
reasons
matters.
why I liked the new raid weapons. They've got, some coils and
They're
almost like,
sick, dude.
yeah.
Oh yeah,
so
oh yeah, absolutely.
I definitely do love that. And even spare rations when it came out, like with the spare rations ornament with it had like
yeah.
it had like the taken barrel, like,
Yeah.
bro, that stuff looks incredible. And I would love to see some more ornaments like that where they got like molten lava or like some electricity
They-
arcing off and stuff like
They
that.
brought some banger ornaments this
They-
season, by
Yeah.
the way.
Finally, Anarchy has an ornament. Like,
I know, I
Anarchy's
heard.
ornament was good. The
Finally.
Izanagi's burden that just
It
looks like a huge claymore.
So dumb, dude. It looks so.
I freaking love
it's
it,
like
dude.
this thick. Your sniper barrel is this thick, bro. It's like what, it looks
and what-
crazy, like in a good way.
Right.
What's the I'm spacing on the name of it. The Warlock exotic chest piece for Stormcallers. That what does
I
it do?
forget what
Like
it's called.
increases super energy or
I know
something.
what you're
I don't-
talking about, yeah.
But anyways, they have a new ornament for that. Even though that exotic piece is pretty useless, the ornament for it looks really cool. There's like arc energy, like arcing across like all directions. It looks like you're literally lightning strikes all over your body. It looks really cool.
I like
Yeah.
that.
So, but like, it's one of those things where at the end of the day, it's more Destiny. There's some, I think it's one of those things where for $10, it's undeniably great value for money. Like, if you like Destiny, you're like, it's absolutely, you spend $10,
Of
you're gonna
course.
get $10 worth so easily. Like, you know what I mean? You went and saw Star Wars for more than $10, and now what the heck was going on
You
there, right?
regretted
So
it, didn't
you
you?
probably regret it after. But wait, did Luke die at the end, or did he disappear with the, you know what I mean? Like, that's not
Yeah.
worth $10. This is worth $10. But at the same time, I think it's like the people who are frustrated and left because of the frustration, this doesn't overhaul anything in a way that would bring them back, right?
Right. And I mean, is what it is. That might take some time, and I think that Destiny still has like a very large audience. There are going to be frustrated people like me that are just like kind of sitting on the outside, but I want the game to improve. I want it to get to the point where I come back. You know, like because I do love the game and I love the franchise overall. I think I'm just bored. I think I'm just bored and burnt out. It doesn't mean it's a bad game, and I think a good example of that was. Did you guys listen to the Fallout or sorry, not Fallout, Skill Up review?
Yeah.
I did.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
did.
and I mean, I think that's a great thing. Is like he took a long time away, and he ended up playing a whole bunch, and it is a good game. And like maybe the new season wasn't the best, but there's a lot to do in Destiny, and he had a lot of goals, and there's quests and some exotics, and
Yeah.
there is a lot to chase. And you know, the raids, maybe for us that are veterans that have done them a whole bunch, maybe they're a little bit tired or we're bored of them. But for someone experiencing that for the first time, imagine the first time you did a raid. Yeah, you're balling, man. Like, that's an amazing piece of content. And I've said it multiple times. The dungeons, the raids, they are some of the best content in gaming, period. And so I think a lot of the time, unfortunately, looking at Destiny as content creators, we're kind of like jaded and burnt out. And so we might not see those little shining things as much because they used to be shiny to us. But, you know, a few months ago kind of thing. So I'm at that point where I want to love Destiny again, and maybe I am bored. But I think there is a lot of good there, and I feel like they do surprise us from time to time. I think people are pretty happy with this one, and like the season just started. I remember even last season, it took a couple weeks to fully release everything and show everything, and like the exotics take a while to come out, and maybe there's a hidden quest that's going to come out, and all those different things. So we'll see. That'll be
Real
good.
quick before we move on to the next topic, just to branch off that
Sure.
real quick story. I got a friend of mine who he's been one of my best friends for like over 10 years now, and he finally decided, you know what, fine, I'll play Destiny 2. He's never been interested in it before, but a few weeks ago, he picked up D2 on Steam for free. Obviously, you can play for free, and he's like, you know what, I kind of got into it. I was kind of digging it, but I wanted more, so I went ahead and I bought Forsaken. Well, and now he like texts me as he's going through the Forsaken content. He's like, bro, I told him, I said, yeah, just make sure when you get to the end, like you're gonna unlock a new space that's really cool. I want to know what you think of it. And he was like, are you talking about the Tangled Shore? And then like out of the blue the other day, I was like, I got a text. He's like, yo, the Dreaming City is sick, dude.
Oh, really?
Look at all this stuff I can do. And it's like seeing it from a fresh player's perspective. And now he's like, I can't wait to buy Shadowkeep and try, like, I heard there's a dungeon in it. And, you know, now he's really geeked about it. So just to speak to what you're saying
Tell
about
him there's
skill
a
up,
dungeon in
yeah,
Tell him there's a dungeon in Forsaken too.
yeah, I don't think he knows that yet.
Yeah,
But anyway, just to
bro.
see it from a fresh player's perspective, like Destiny historically in Destiny 2, there is a ton of content. So I think you are right. Like us veteran players, but it's just a different situation. But yeah, Anthem, their fate is being decided this week.
Yeah. And it's like, what day? They didn't say, or I don't know what day, but they're literally, and I believe this is like an official thing, is like they're doing, I don't know if I would consider it.
Report.
Yeah, it's like a progress report. They're like going to be like, this is what we have. This is where we're going. Is this the game? Is this worth putting any more time into? And the executives are going to look at it and just be like, yep, or no.
Bro,
Like they're literally, this is how many millions have been put into this game already. Like if you look from the very start of Anthem, development of Anthem, and then all the time on Anthem Next, they might be kiboshing like, I don't know, 80 mil, 100 mil. I don't know how long, like I have no idea how expensive it is, but this is a long time that they've been developing Anthem. And we're going to find out this week if they just go, nah. I don't want that to happen. I really don't want that to happen.
Thank you. I'm gonna name names. Paul Tassi and Skill Up for all over Twitter being like, oh, just kill it, bro. Just kill Anthem. And I'm like, no, dude. I'm like, you know what? It's kind of annoying that, and I tweeted, I was saying like, no, I don't want this game to die. It was a truly innovative game. And some people, of course, come in. They're like, "Truly, how is it innovative?" Someone legitimately said to me, "It's like, aside from the flying, how is it innovative?"
It's like,
And it's like,
come
bro,
on.
it's like that's like saying, "How are humans unique aside from the brain?" Like, leave the main part out. Leave the
Right.
innovative part. Like, bro, are you serious? Anyways, like that really. Go play Star Wars Battlefront. Go play Battlefield. Go play like to be able to fly and control a character in 3-dimensional space as well as they made it. It like, and not only that, stop in midair, perform
That's what I
combat
was gonna
actions.
say.
They
The
get
transitions from
yes,
walking to flying to hovering, those transitions and the animations,
unbelievable. No,
so
no,
smooth, beautiful.
no game has even come close to pulling that off. It was truly an achievement, right?
Mhm.
But that was the problem. They spent so much time getting that to the good state that I think all the other stuff, the loot, the world encounters, the end game, it all really suffered. And it's sad because it's like the people who like are like just kill Anthem. Like, yeah, it was a little innovative, but I didn't like it. Just kill it. It's like those are the same people that are like, why doesn't Call of Duty innovate? It's like they don't innovate because when you take risks like Anthem, your game freaking dies, bro. Like that's the sad part. Like that it really is a sad thing. And I think that, like you said, so much time and effort and money was put into the world building, put into designing all this stuff. I'm sure they have like a roadmap and plans and assets. I feel like it'd probably be less money to just invest a little bit. It really wasn't that much away from just a solid playable game in a sense of fix some bugs, add a fun end game activity, just one, like a greater rift system type thing, or just some fun end game activity that you can loop grind, and we're good.
Mhm.
Like that,
And
it would
that,
be it wouldn't be the Destiny killer, but it would be a fun side game.
mhm. And if anything,
Like,
put pressure on Destiny. Like, put
Yeah.
pressure. The Division, like, came out hot. It like died. They did some raids. You said they've kind of made a comeback, and it's good. But they need to have more pressure on Destiny because I feel like Destiny is like the king, and people keep trying to kill Destiny, but good. They need that sort of pressure from these outside forces. And the other thing too is it was different. Flying around, it felt like a different game in a different world, and it was fresh. And there was
Again, people who played it one time or don't play it and have not a clue will say like, "Why does it matter?" It's like
the game
if
was
you
trash.
were, if you, yeah, oh, you can fly in other games. Like, dude, if you played Anthem and you were actually like leveled up and you were doing those like strongholds, and it's like, all right, you'd see someone fly over, get a flamethrower, like they're all prepped. You get that like prep mechanic, and then someone would come with like a missile and trigger the detonation. They would all explode, and that was so fun. Like
exactly.
There's definitely a skill
there was
gap,
something
too.
legitimately fun about the core gameplay loop in that game.
And there was
The
like
skill ceiling
set
is
gear.
really high.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh yeah. And like yeah, you could like make builds. Like there was like frost builds that would chain into your fire ability,
they
and you
didn't
could like
work. They
yeah,
were glitched,
sometimes they didn't work.
but it was there.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't want it to just get kiboshed. Like I really hope that it turns into something. And they did show a little bit of promise in the recent post, but my hope is one way or the other. I hope that they at least reveal the progress. It's like, all right, we're kiboshing the game, but like this is where we got to. I doubt they will, but I would love to see like where did they actually get to with this.
So like they could spend 1% of the money they get from FIFA loot boxes to completely fix the game.
Yeah,
Right?
probably.
And again, it's like, and again, you got people in the chat right now being like, why should they fix it? It's like, go play FIFA 25. Like, go play Call of Duty 35. If you kibosh anything with innovation just because it had like a rough start, that's what you're going to get. You're going to get games that don't innovate. You're going to get games that just play by the numbers and they know what people like and they just have you on a hamster wheel, right? You're never
Yep.
going to get
Here's
anything
some
really
skins.
interesting or daring. Like, so have fun with go play FIFA. Go play FIFA. Go play the 25th FIFA, and you know what I mean. Like it's just such a. It really frustrates me because it's like that's people will complain about that and then hate on anything that does something different or try to innovate.
Yeah. No, for sure. Really quickly, did you guys hear about like the Division 2 drama with Fei
A little
Lao
bit.
and
A little.
everything?
Oh wait, maybe not.
Well,
I don't know about this.
what I had heard is that everyone spent like a year on these manhunts and like this big like finale to the game,
Yeah.
And then there just like wasn't any cutscene, and they're just like, all right, good job, come back to base. And it's like, what? Hold on, what? And like apparently it's like one of the most unsatisfying story beats in like recent gaming history. And I haven't played it myself, so it's hard to say. But I was looking at the Reddit, and everyone's like, I think the mission is bugged, and then everyone's like, it's not. Like that's it. And I guess
That's not good.
no.
yeah,
That's not good.
so dive into the Destiny Reddit, or sorry, the Division Reddit from the past
Destiny
couple
Red,
days.
Division Red, same thing. these
Same
days,
thing,
bro. Just
same
people
thing.
hating on the game. They can't stop playing, but they hate it.
That's
Yeah.
right.
But like, I want these new games to do good. I want Outriders to be good. I want these games to thrive. Like when I think of Diablo 4, it's gonna be a while, a ways away.
2021, I think.
But like, please,
I'm sorry, 22. Sorry.
I pray that it's good. And like, there's another Elder Scrolls down the road. I know it's gonna be a ways away, but after Fallout, 4 and Fallout 76, there's this worry that like what if it sucks? And it's these huge pinnacle games, but like, please don't suck. I feel like there's been so many games that have failed or have had like buggy starts or like problems. And I don't feel like there's a consistent spree of AAA games that are like nailed it. It's weird. It's weird. I feel like back in the day, every game I picked up, I was like, banger. This is a banger. This is a banger. But
Yeah.
I don't know.
That might have been because you don't
Oh,
know any better. I feel like some of these games, if you went back, you're like, wow, there's no content here. You know what I mean?
Maybe. Yeah, maybe.
Like you
I
weren't
don't
as
know.
concerned about like end game grind when you were like just a little kid, you know?
Yeah, that's true. All right, now
Rockstar did. I will say it. Rockstar did have one letdown in the form of Red Dead Online. So Red Dead 2
Oh.
Online.
true.
Yeah.
They launched it and they hyped it up, and there was nothing. I mean,
Yeah.
you were just in the single player world with
Right.
almost nothing to do. It was pointless.
So
And they got a lot of flack for that, and then they just continued to dump more into GTA Online instead.
It's
But
this before we move on from Anthem, the real sad thing is like part of the look, if you don't like Anthem, that's like none of us here are like go buy Anthem, right? We just think that game had potential. The thing is, whether you enjoyed it, never enjoyed it, never played it, whatever, one of the big reasons for its flop was because they just didn't have enough time. Right? They definitely could have used, they already had to delay it once. They could have used an extra year to like,
yeah.
so it didn't, that Cataclysm event, apparently, like I never got to play it, but apparently the people who did play it actually enjoyed it. It's like, oh, it's actually a pretty fun activity. Like if you had that a little bit maybe remade or retooled to a permanent thing, launching with Anthem, so it would have had something for the end game, that would have really helped it. And so this is a really unfortunate part to me. And the thing that annoys me is like EA was partially responsible for causing the game to die because it didn't give them enough time. It
Right.
rushes it out, and then it's like, well, we're cutting the cord. It's like, EA, come on, dude.
Yeah, you
Like-
caused that. Like you
Yeah.
guys literally forced us to like remake parts of the game or just push it out way before. And I mean, that's what people said about Destiny back in the day, is that like they did the full like the first storyboard for the game and like showed everything, and they're like, no. And they're like,
Yeah.
oh, really? Okay. And then they
Yeah.
had to like rewrite the whole game pretty much. And and like you do that, and then it has a rocky start, and it's like, you game devs, like you should have figured it
Yeah,
out. And it's like, what the
exactly.
hell? We like
Yeah.
like you made us remake the whole friggin' game. Like what the
Yeah.
heck, man?
It's BS, dude.
So
Yeah.
yeah. Before, because we were going to talk about the UK banning scalpers, we'll talk
Yeah.
about that in a minute. But I want to jump ahead just because we're kind of talking about games and innovation, and I want to talk about
Yeah.
the Warner Brothers patent, because that one's
That's
kind
a
of
really
wild.
interesting story. That's a really interesting story. So Warner Brothers Interactive, what they did is they took the Nemesis system from one of their Lord of the Rings games.
Shadows
And,
of Shadows of
Shadows of
Mordor or
Mordor.
something.
Yeah. So it's to be fair, it's a really cool system. It's a really cool system. So if you're not familiar with that system, let me just unpack it real quick for you. What happens is the game will recognize in your battles, like say you go into an orc stronghold and you cut a bunch of guys down, but one orc, just one unnamed random, like it would be like a vandal or something in Destiny. If he killed you, you were low on health, you got a little too aggro and it kills you. Well, that orc now gets a promotion. So he goes from being this just unnamed random ad to being a named ad, right? And then he'll like show up in future battles. It'll be like, oh, it's that guy that killed me. He had the audacity to kill me several battles ago. So it'll like keep leveling him up. That's what the Nemesis system does. They'll keep leveling him up and giving him promotions, give him a name, and make him a bigger, chunkier boss. You know what I mean? So you actually form this rivalry with what was just like a simple ad is now like a boss fight for you. You know what I mean? It's kind of a cool system. It's like the world is reacting to how you interact with it, right? And so it's developing as you develop. And it kind of helps give the gamers something to look forward to. Like, oh, if I see that son of a bee again, you know what I mean? It's a pretty cool system. Well, they've been trying to patent it for years, and they officially did. So it'll be patented through 2035. So if anybody does anything similar to that in any game, right, they'll have to get permission and pay for licensing fees and all that stuff. Or if they do it without permission, they could get their system, they could get sued for it essentially. So the question is, and this is pretty, from what I've seen in the dev community, most people don't like that. I've seen gamers respond to it and be like, "That I don't care, that's fine." Like they made something really cool, really innovative, and they want to claim it as their own property and patent it. They'd be dumb not to. It's a smart business move. But then you got developers. So I saw some developers tweet out some pretty spicy takes. Like, can you imagine if we at Bungie decided when we shipped Oni to patent dual wielding and didn't let anyone else do it? You know what I mean? It's not the same. It's a bit of a hyperbole there. But you get what I'm saying. So that's the question. What do you guys think? Is that a smart business move or is that kind of a scummy dev move?
I think it hurts the gamers in a little bit because it's like it is innovative. It is definitely innovative, and then they're the first one to really have like name it, the Nemesis system, and all this stuff. But yeah, it's like if it's a good system, you want it to show up more. We often see stuff copied and moved around. I mean, Call of Duty bringing the RPG elements and being able to level up and then being able to unlock attachments for your guns and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And now we see that that's like the standard. It's like, why am I going to use a bog standard M16? I want to put my scope on it. I want to change the barrel. I want to change the grip. I want to do it. I want to customize it, right? Now it's like if a game doesn't have that, crazy. Like, get out of here.
Yeah. What are you doing?
Exactly. So we often do see like innovations made in some fields and then copied in other fields. So yeah, it is one of those things. But at the same time, it's like if they were innovative enough that a judge granted them or like they're able to get a patent because they're so different than everything else, it's like maybe they do deserve to get that extra income.
My thing is like there's a few questions that it makes me wonder. Like, one, are you using it again? Like, are you planning to use it for a big thing? And it's like, we got to lock this down. And if you aren't, it's like, well, why? Like, why? Why are you protecting it so heavily? Like, people aren't going and buying that game now. Like, it's like 5 years old now.
The other reason to do it is to get other people to pay you licensing fees to implement a similar
that's
thing
true.
In their game. So if you want to use that, you got to pay us. So even if they're not going to use it in future games, they can still capitalize on it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it just seems like a little scummy. But the other thing too is like people can't innovate off of it. They can't like build on it any further. And it's like, where do you draw the line? Like, Binding of Isaac randomizes the floors and randomizes the items. It's like, well, can they patent the algorithm that decides which level and which boss and which, like, can you patent the seed system from Minecraft that generates the worlds? Like, I don't know where you can draw the line here, but it seems like a slippery slope a little bit.
At the same time, though, it's like if they were innovative enough to come up with this system and it was different enough than what anyone else has done, maybe they should be rewarded because we often do see innovation made. You mentioned these indie games. Indie games will make these innovation and then other games will shamelessly rip it off, right?
Mm-hmm.
With no credit, no nothing. And so that's the alternative, and that's not necessarily the best thing ever either.
Yeah. But like, what if someone said, what if PUBG copyrighted battle royales? I mean, they weren't the first ones.
The first battle royale,
didn't they?
But still, I think they tried to sue Fortnite when it came out.
Yeah, and it didn't take. I remember
Yeah.
that. That's funny.
It's just like a little. I don't
Weird,
know.
right?
It's a little. It's weird. It is weird, and like
because you don't want people say like on the one hand you don't want it because you're like you want other games to keep innovating and stuff, but on the same time it's like again if you hear anytime you hear a story of like a little guy getting ripped off by the big guy, everyone's all outraged. But it's like, well, it's like if you don't want them to get ripped off, they need to copyright their work. They need to patent their work.
Right.
In some aspects too. This isn't a little guy per se, though. WB Games is a huge like company, but yeah, it's legitimately tricky. Like, I don't think it's all good or all bad. It is weird, and then maybe now this triggers a weird like space race of all these game devs trying to like patent the innovative things they've done.
yeah, like now you
Mhm.
can't do a loot box because
Yeah.
we did it for like. Where do you draw the line, and how far back do you go? Can a company that like hasn't made a game for a while but was the first person to think of a loot box is like, oh
No, definitely not.
no, I know
don't
it's
think so,
tough,
no.
but I just wonder if there's like if there's gonna be like weird repercussions for something like this. Because it could be
That's-
like AI systems, matchmaking systems, like skill-based matchmaking systems that they're patenting, and I don't know. I don't know
Yeah.
enough about the dev world
Well,
to like
Activision
fully
is
grasp
definitely
it.
already patenting those matchmaking systems
Yeah.
and getting patents too. It's just a little bit more behind the scenes.
Right, because it's not like upfront in your face kind of stuff.
Yeah,
It's like
exactly. So like this is not unique. This has been going on.
speaking of completely different stuff,
Yeah.
the UK is
Well, before we get onto that,
what?
yeah.
Tash,
What?
you know what? I
Okay.
think I'm gonna need some energy. I think
Oh.
I'm gonna need some focus for this
Really?
next topic because this is a crazy one.
Well, that is a crazy one. Did you know that our little podcast, our baby podcast, RGH, is sponsored by Advanced GG? That's right. If you go to advanced.gg and then you go buy some beautiful products like the Mtashed Mango Splash, if you go and buy some amazing products, you can enter code RGH and get 10% off right now to support the podcast, to fix this green screen. And provide Ryan with hair gel for his beautiful hair, and maybe even some more Whistle Pig
Gel.
30 years.
Yeah.
I don't even know that
Yeah.
exists, but it's probably expensive.
They call it Boss Hog. They
Boss
don't call
Hog.
it Whistle Pig 30 year. They call it Boss Hog.
Oh
Oh,
my
damn.
gosh!
Now you know.
And
That's kind of nice.
there's a bunch of new energy flavors recently
There are.
introduced.
What were those?
I'll tell you right now. There's cotton candy, strawberry shortcake, and birthday cake. And okay, here's the actual
what?
cool. So yeah, strawberry shortcake and birthday cake. Apparently, I saw a tweet from Farcog, and he's like, these were designed so that you can use milk instead of water, or you can obviously still use water, but you can use milk. And I'm like, I drink so much milk. My
That
wife
sounds
gets
like a
mad.
milk
Like, I
shake.
bought a gallon of milk 2 days ago. How was it empty? I was like,
I love it.
I love it so much. But like
Interesting.
that with like milk, like a shake, putting in that strawberry shortcake. Oh, I'm so hyped for that.
Huh.
Yeah, it's gonna be
Very
like
cool.
creamy, and yeah, if you use code RGH, you get 10% off. So that's a pog. They're actually sending me the new flavors, and another flavor that we can't discuss just yet.
I'll say so. Someone said it's insanely expensive. The Focus is the most expensive because the Focus has the most like stuff in it. It has the
Ingredients.
the new level stuff, which is like the clinically proving stuff. The energy stuff is significantly less expensive.
Yeah.
It's only like $30. People get tricked. People see like the little things, and they're like, "Wow, it's so expensive for the little thing." It's just a
No,
tiny
that's a
little.
lot.
It's just a tiny little scoop, right? If you get a big jug, the scoops are like this big. Has anyone noticed that? Like, if you get a
Mhm.
big tub of like a competitor, the scoops are massive, and you got to get a freaking 2-liter shaker to put it in there.
That's why they're
'Cause
so
it's all-
chalky too, because it's
all
so
filler.
filler.
You're not getting a deal. It's just bigger for the sake of being bigger. It's like, why does it need to be like this big? And the serving size is like you have to like shovel it out. Like, come on, people that trust me, you're getting the best
Thanks
deal with
for-
Advanced GG.
Thanks for listening to our 10-minute ad read, and now we cannot wait to
Oh,
talk to you
yeah.
about
Exactly.
The UK scalpers.
Oh, well, any other sponsors, now you know, we'll not only do your ad, we'll go on tangents.
We'll rant
5
about that
minutes-
shit.
Right.
5 minutes longer. This is an extra 5 minutes for you, baby.
All right,
but the UK
hit us
scalpers
up.
thing's a huge
Hit us
deal.
up with it.
Do you want me to
Break
just
it
do
down.
it? All right, here we
Do
go.
it.
The United Kingdom is looking into banning scalpers in the sense of they're going to ban essentially computer programs, bots that will go and like instantly buy stuff for the purpose of immediate resale. And this is huge. I mean, obviously this has come to light in the gaming sphere. We think of PlayStations, Xboxes, and the Nvidia graphics cards, but this has been a thing for forever. I mean, concert tickets are some of the most egregious examples of that. Like as soon as they go on sale, places like Ticketmaster and stuff will buy half the damn stadium and then resell it to you for a larger price. The original price that was somewhere in there that the artist put out originally, no one actually gets it for that price. It's just all immediately bought and then made for resale. So that's like the bigger industry it could affect, but I think this is more specifically going after, like the things that'll, how is Walmart sell? I tried to buy a PlayStation 5 on Walmart, and like I didn't even have a chat. As soon as I was refreshing, like as soon as I saw it, click cart. I have my info done. I just copy and paste it all. Click like pay. It's already too late. And it's like, how, dude?
No one's faster than you.
No human being was with like one guy with laggy internet got through basically like under the wire because the internet's so bad. You know what I mean? Like, but it's one of those things where definitely people are scalping this, and this is huge. If the UK does it, could set a precedent for other places
That's right.
to do it.
And that's the only way that it really works. That's the only way it really works is if more people jump on board. Because otherwise, you're just gonna have people. There's other ways to circumvent those issues. You can do it and not get caught if you mask your IP, appear to be in a different region, or if you are in a different region, you're just across the border, you're scalping and then shipping them across into the States or into the UK. The only way it really works long term is if other people start jumping on board.
Yeah, it's making it
But
illegal.
It's a great start.
But like, also, can you just add like CAPTCHA? Like, could you just add that stupid thing with the stop signs, and you're like, I don't know, like, is that a stop sign? Is it not a stop sign? Even the squiggly letters, I'm like, it could be a B, but maybe it's a 3. I don't know.
I know.
Like, I'm getting tricked by that, so these computers have no chance.
It is kind of crazy. And that's the interesting part of like, how will this law go? Will it have maybe some things that these companies have to do and have to have in place to as preventative measures?
Right.
I think that's very possible, and that could be a good thing too. Because like you said, how am I able to buy $1,000 or whatever it was? No, like 500, 600, well, Canadian dollars, probably basically $1,000 PS5 on Walmart, and I don't even need to do a CAPTCHA. Like, what a joke! It's like Walmart has the resources to add a CAPTCHA.
Right.
Like, I'm sure they can figure it out. They just don't want to because they don't care. But at the same time, it's like, why are they introducing this law? Obviously, there are companies that care enough because their customers have like an impossible time getting their products, and then they're frustrated at these companies.
Right. It's not the retailers. It's the people making the product. That's absolutely right.
Yeah, no, exactly. And I feel like especially when things are at the height and like the only way to get it is from a scalper, it's just like this weird feeling of like, I don't even want to partake now because I'm not giving that guy money because it just feels like scummy. I'm not true Vanguard going and getting a scalp PlayStation, right? I have morals. You know what I mean? Like,
I didn't like it, man. I didn't like it. I didn't feel good about it, but
it's your business. It's your business. It is what it is.
I have a PlayStation though, Tash.
Huh?
You don't have any new console, do you?
I have none of the new consoles.
Or are you sponsored? Let me get you sponsored by Sony yet?
All I do is play Genshin, brother. So
listen, you got Taco Bell and speed dial. Just call them up, and be like, listen,
I told them
giving away Xbox.
I was like, get me one. Like, what the hell, bro?
Just give me one,
Well, that's because Sony and Microsoft gave new consoles to every content creator on the planet Earth except us three, basically. And so
truly.
we got.
Oh
we
my
missed,
God.
they saw one episode of the podcast and they're like, nah,
Nah.
we're good.
Meanwhile, there's Billy who's like, I'm gonna start a YouTube channel, and then
Yeah,
the very
I
next
stream-
day,
Give it
after
to
he
him.
has 10 subscribers, and they're all his family.
I streamed
get one.
He's like, I streamed a Brian with 10 viewers, and
You
so
get
he's like,
one.
here's a PlayStation 5 gamer, all for you. But in all honesty, like, thank goodness they're doing this. Like, it is so bad. Like, you can't get a PlayStation. You won't find a PlayStation 5. Like it's still months later. I still see like the alerts, like alert, it's on sale at Best Buy Canada, like or whatever. Go check. Like nationwide, people care because it's still so hard to get. So definitely they need to do something about it.
Probably happens with phones and stuff too. Like it's probably like literally
Anything.
any tech industry would be absolutely.
You used to be able to like go into stores, right? And then they would always have a certain amount of product that would go directly to the store. Obviously, you beat the scalpers there. But now with the pandemic, most shopping, a lot of the shopping is occurring online, and that's why it's such an issue now.
Yeah, it's just escalated things to a point of like no return.
Yep.
Okay, now we've got one bonus topic, and I'm not gonna lie, I don't remember what it was.
I think we just put in bonus. I think it was the
Just
Twitch
in case.
thing.
Oh yeah, the Twitch thing. It was a Twitch thing.
Because yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so do you guys remember the other episode where we were talking about the Twitch purple screen of death? Apparently,
if you have an ad blocker,
yeah,
then it'll block the ad, and then Twitch will instead show you like a screen that's like, you're on ad blocker, naughty, like naughty. No.
yeah, and it's like you're on a different website watching this stream because it's embedded. Why don't you just go to Twitch, to watch it for the full experience? Like they're doing everything in their power to shut down any sort of embedded streams, any ad blocked streams. Like they don't want you watching it unless it's on their platform and they can monetize it. Well, there's a bunch of different video games, and people have said, well, now it's popping up in the game. So they've got like, featured Twitch streamers and stuff like that for the games, and it's just blacking it out. Like it's just like blocking it out with the purple screen of death. And apparently in a
PUBG.
Yeah, like a PUBG tournament, like one of the main graphics, it like blotched out the main Twitch stream from the PUBG.
That's kind of hilarious.
And they're like, what?
That's kind of funny.
We're gonna go live to the kill leader, and it's just a big purple screen.
Yeah.
It's like, well, and it's like, what the heck what are they supposed to do? Because, if they are trying to host this tournament and they want to show different streamers, they have to have some sort of ad block, because like you go in the middle of a stream, it's like an intense, he's a Kenny Carlos just 1v1, and then The Boys season 2 comes up because they also made it so that ads will like randomly pop up without the control of the creator. And so it's like these issues that if you're randomly watching Twitch, it's annoying at best. But it's like ruining these huge events, not just potentially, it is. So it's like Twitch, take the pedal off the gas.
It's the same thing that happened with the mid-roll ads. People are like, this will ruin stuff, and they're like, it'll be fine. And then the PlayStation had their reveal event and had mid-roll ads, and when the ad cut back to the real show, they're like, and that was Hogwarts. I hope you liked it. And they move on, and everyone's like, what happened?
Oh my god, yeah,
it's the same thing.
The
people say this is gonna cause problems, and Twitch is like, it'll be fine.
Yeah,
and then it does.
Imagine you're whoever owns Hogwarts, and you're like excited to reveal the Harry Potter game to the world, and then it's like the Boys season 2, baby. That was crazy.
Someone in chat said, hey, we've got a bonus topic for you. Gina,
do you want to go there?
Well,
I'm gonna ask you, do you want to go there?
I have not.
Gina, let's just do the quick. Gina Carano from like The Mandalorian, like the drop trooper. Apparently she got fired for The Mandalorian.
She got canned from Lucasfilm. Said she's officially been dropped from the Star Wars universe. She's not gonna work on Star Wars anymore.
That's wild. They might have to reshoot a bunch of stuff.
She
she
made some comments yesterday that didn't go over so well.
Yeah, we're not gonna obviously say it.
Yeah,
some anti. Yeah, I don't know what you could say that didn't demonetize, but like she made some bonehead stuff. And yeah, I guess she's like got fired, and she's like
been
getting
on thin
removed.
ice for a while.
Well, she did
Since
before too. Is the issue? Like, I think,
Yeah.
I think even in season 1, she was making some dicey comments, like
Yeah.
just like saying racist stuff, and then now they're like, "All right, you're out, you're done, it's over." But I don't know at what point they're filming, and I don't know what they would have to reshoot. Like, she's kind of a main character. I think they could. I feel like
Her
with the
character
last
is a great
season,
character.
I feel
no
like with the
doubt.
last season, like, it's not like she's got like a big
Her
thing she's
arc-
doing or anything. Like, she doesn't need to continue that bad.
Her
So-
arc is kind of concluded. I
Yeah,
think that
exactly.
It's not going to be a problem
Yeah,
moving forward.
that's true.
It'll be a bummer though, because there's always a separation where you have to separate the actress from the character they portray. And the character she portrays is a fantastic character. Love that character. So it'll be a disappointment not to see that character anymore, unless they obviously recast or have her show up in an animated series of some kind, which would be a cool way to continue her arc, because they have several animated series going. But
who's
Yeah.
gonna voice it? Like, obviously not her.
not her, but I mean,
Bless
Yeah,
you.
it's one of those
there are
things.
plenty of very talented voice
Yeah, it's one of
actors
those
out
things
there.
where it's like, listen, if you want to go say some crazy opinions you have, or I shouldn't even say crazy. It depends on who's. It depends who views what it's crazy, right? But if you want to make these comments publicly on your Twitter account, don't accept the Disney job. Like, obviously, Disney does not want people saying these inflammatory things, right?
Right.
Like, you can go do all that on your own time, right? That's freedom of speech. But like, there's consequences if you work for like a multinational big company like Disney. And it's just like you need to be a little like, I just don't understand it. It's like, first of all, probably shouldn't be saying these things anyways, but it's like, don't accept the Disney job. So you have you're now known for this huge character to this massive audience who doesn't know you personally, and now you're making these comments and they see that and they're upset. They're upset at Disney. Now Disney takes the heat, and then Disney's like, what do we do?
You're
Get
not
rid of
worth
this?"
it anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
Your
It's-
value is not worth all
Exactly.
the crap we got to put up with on your behalf.
Right.
Yeah.
For sure.
Mhm.
But that's pretty much it for the topics today. I know that you guys are pretty busy. I don't know if you guys want to stick around for like a quick little session, or if we want to just end it here as a quick little RGH on Wednesday night. There is a new season of Destiny that dropped, so I know these guys have been grinding streams and making a bunch of videos. So, what are your thoughts? You got to get back to work, or?
I'm getting back to I'm got a raid lined up, and then I got some absolute grinding. Got a sponsored video we're doing tomorrow, but sponsor is pretty. It's just say finally. I'll tell you guys when the stream ends. But,
All right, leak it after the stream ends.
I'll leak it to you. I'll leak it to you guys for sure. But no, yeah, lots of grinding to do. That is the good thing. There is a decent amount of content for this season. I think, Destiny, it's not saved by this season, but certainly, this certainly helped in a lot of ways. This really, really helped.
Yeah,
For sure.
no doubt.
Awesome. Well, if you guys want to stay up to date with all the gaming content as we see it unfold in this world, check out the RGH podcast every Wednesday night at 9 p.m. Eastern time. We're going to be here every Wednesday. We've got nothing planned next week other than big gaming moments, and maybe we'll make it through one stream without a technical issue. Today's the camera.
Tune in
Tomorrow-
next time for whatever
Yeah.
the camera shows. Could
Yeah.
be. It's just gonna be up his nose next time. It's gonna be super zoomed in, and he won't be able to do it.
He's got the cat filter on.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm not a
Yeah.
cat. We can continue. I'm not the cat.
I'm
Yeah,
prepared
yeah.
to go forward with this.
Awesome. Okay, talk to you guys later. See you later. I'm Mtashed.
I'm KackisHD.